All right, so first up, and only up at the moment. Yeah, first and only up, we do have patch salts with 2 sets. We have one against DKWill, and then another one against a couple of people as well. Yeah, he posted the DKWill one first. So overall, patch salts, you know, a ducker that's been on here quite a lot, supporting the channel quite a bit too. Yeah, you're not a sub though, but you know, always kind of tuned in for a lot. I think you've tuned in 2 other sets as well, something along the lines of that. So definitely more in the beginner stages and all that, but I'm definitely interested to see what we'll see here. Obviously, DKWill is a very good player, and he has a lot of experience playing against Duck Hunt, particularly because he played a lot with Stay and Afroraptor back in the day. So a lot of the ways that you'd play around that in that game, you'd still play around it here. Except the big difference is Clay Pigeon. Before, DK could just like at least swat away the Clay Pigeon and hit Duck Hunt as well. But if he tries to just hit through Clay Pigeon, then he will get punished for breaking the Clay Pigeon. Don't worry, you support by just being here. Viewers are good, and just like, you know, watching the YouTube videos too and everything. But yeah, so I can see this. Obviously, this is a really bad matchup for DK, but I could see him kind of giving you the work if you weren't ready for somebody that do the matchup as well as he does. He's definitely gonna be one of the better ones at knowing it. But DK gets to a point where it's like there's not much you could do if you know how to fight DK, and it doesn't really matter how good of a player you are. You kind of have to pull off some like miracle stuff to really make it work. Like, it's not impossible. Like we saw like Hikaru able to take a set over Raito. I mean, obviously Hikaru's an amazing player, but you know, it's still Raito fighting him. So, you know, best of like, I don't know if I could say Hikaru's the best DK at the moment, but like, you know, the caliber of player is he's definitely up there, and Raito's like the best Duck Hunt that we have. Just kind of not really up for debate, just kind of is. But he could get a little bit headstrong. That kind of messes him up, and that's kind of the name of the game with DK. The second you get impatient and the second you decide to rush in, that's when you're gonna fall apart. Because DK's punish game is still good, but he's just like a really hard time getting in. They're at low percents. He's like minus on hit, and that hurts a lot. So it's like he has to like hit, run away, and then like kind of just doing a lot of neutral exchanges. But then like once he gets you to like, I think like 30-40%, then his combo game should be fine from there. And you know, if he does get you off stage, back air is really, really threatening. But if you do happen to mess him up in terms of like getting him low enough that he can't recover, then it makes it a little bit risky for him to go off stage. But that's not going to really happen. Yeah. Let's see what goodness happens. Okay, here we go. Yeah, not a bad stage to start on. You're basically on FD with platforms. Yeah, he actually had a free opening because he air dodged to the Clay Pigeon. But yeah, you just had to take that into effect. That was really bad. The second that you land one Clay Pigeon, you literally can you could just keep doing Clay Pigeon over and over again. Like, you don't even need to like really think about it too much. Like there, that should have been like 2. That should have at least been 1 more Clay Pigeon and then just knocked him off stage. Like there, that was Clay Pigeon down air. He already lost. Yeah, when you hit Clay Pigeon on any big body shield, they functionally cannot jump around it. They must air dodge. And you already killed him, so you just have to up beat back, air dodge. Good. Yeah. But, you know, when you get stages, it's still worth talking about, just so you know more about the matchup. But yeah, see, that's the other thing too. Like, literally, if you just started spamming Clay Pigeon right next to him, there's not too much you could do. Because, like, even if he gets that 1 armor from up B, the Clay Pigeon, like, hits last long enough that it'll knock him out of the armor. Because I think it does too much damage. And you should be dead. Yeah. It's just the matchup's that bad. Like, honestly, if they're, like, while we always, like, complain about Duck Hunt on Wi-Fi, if there's one matchup that probably objectively gets better for Duck Hunt on Wi-Fi, it'd be this one. Or, like, anything with heavies. Just because, like, it's so hard for them to get around anything. And they can't react to anything. It's rough. Oh, he actually could have broken your shield. Again, that was really weird can pressure. Like, you just kind of threw it at the top and then, like, did nothing with it. See, now you're getting the issue where you actually are approaching him for no reason. So that's like something that's going to make you lose the matchup. And like, as much as I always say, don't put faith into Clay Pigeon, this is one matchup where I can tell you can put faith into Clay Pigeon and you'll be fine. DK's too slow to approach you from the air. Oh, he can kill you from this. Is he dead? Nah, it's DK. Oh, yeah, you could have just gone off stage and killed him. Okay, you at least got that. All right. I would have been really disappointed if you actually blew that lead. But yeah, honestly, like the main difference on that last stock compared to, well, those, on how you played on his last stock was that you were approaching him and just not doing a safe zoning game. And that's actually the only reason why you lost those 2 stocks. And also, you could just have more faith in Clay Pigeon in that matchup if he's far away. Like, literally, he kind of has to be next, like, where the red line is. He has to be there for you to be scared of using Clay Pigeon. As long as he's not there, you kind of have free range to use it. And he has to have the punch charge. So he has punch charge. That's a pretty quick thing he has to, like, come and hit you. But he has to be pretty close to you to land that regardless. Yeah, see, like, this is fine. This is all you really need to do. Okay, so right there, the gunman already covered the ground, so there's no reason to cover the ground again with Duck Hunt. Like, that makes no sense. That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, at least you did an action there, because, like, he knew that you weren't going to do anything. So he knew he would be able to break your shield. Yeah, see, like, you could literally do that against DK, and he doesn't have a solid way to get around it. You actually could have killed him right there off of that Clay Pigeon, but you didn't go for it. So that's the thing I keep saying. Like, if you have no faith that your Clay Pigeons are going to work, then there's no reason to go for them. I don't know why. I thought he slapped you and you went that far. See, like, that wasn't bad coverage with the F smash. Now, that was a bad F smash. Also, I believe when he's doing pressure with the down B, you just jump in the middle of it, or you can roll away. Roll away still might get you hit by the splash, but I think just, like, jump and nair him, and you should be okay. I might be wrong, though. I have to go back and double-check the labbing. Yeah, a little bit slow on that, but it's Wi-Fi. I have no idea what that nair was. But yeah, see what I mean? Like, you're going to lose to DK when you start approaching him, and you just don't zone smartly. Like, that's literally it. That was a strange up air, too. Because, like, there was kind of, like, no indication that he'd land on the platform, especially when his percentage was that low as a heavyweight. Again, just weird. Like, you're covering the ground when he teched on the platform. You have to really think more about why you're using each projectile, or what you're covering with each one. You kind of, like, got lucky he didn't back air you there, because he easily could have. Again, yeah, you're just not thinking about your options. Like, why F smash there after you land a Clay Pigeon? Like, that, from that distance, that was just not going to connect. Oh yeah, I mean, it definitely can. It's just like in this matchup, like, if you just remember what you need to do, it's very hard to lose, even if you're down by, like, 3 stocks. Or not 3, I'd say 2. See, now that you can F smash. There we go. That makes sense. Also, anybody watching, because I do see we have 9 viewers, if you do have a match you want me to look over, just send it over, because as of right now, this is the only set. These are the only 2 sets we're looking at. Yeah, yeah, you just kind of ran into him, and then you just let him hit you. That was really it. Like, I always remember, whenever you're playing against a heavyweight, especially DK, camp zone wall with Can to cover the air, and then whenever he's on the ground, use Clay Pigeon. And yeah, when you just do that setup, DK doesn't have an answer. Like, he legitimately has no answer to that. Yeah, always make sure you go for the second up air there, because like off of that one, the third one's guaranteed, so it does the most damage. And because DK can't land, you can very easily just like intercept him with like a back air or an air to send him sideways. Yeah, again, don't F smash that low. I don't know if he has a way to kill you, but it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, okay. I'm surprised he didn't pick up on how you saved yourself last time. That was a really free down air. Because he burned his double jump, he would have died. Yeah, you're also not confident off your Clay Vision conversions when you have it covering the ledge already. Like, all you have to do is just keep running and press side B, and you'll get it. Hey, this is standard DK stuff. That was good typing on his part, but yeah, that's why you don't go for F smash. Like, honestly, you could have burst the Clay Pigeon and then gone for another Clay Pigeon, and that would have been a better option than going for the F smash. Again, why are you doing Gunman? So, okay, let me explain why this is just horrible. So not only do you like, you got the kill. That Clay Pigeon was the kill. You decide not to approach, and out of any option you could possibly choose from staying chill, you decide to go for Gunman when he's on the platform, and he needs to tech, and in this case he didn't tech, and you still went for Gunman, which is fundamentally never going to cover a single possible option that DK can go for the second that he misses his tech. Because tech, like instant get up, left, right, or get up attack, all take way too long for Gunman to even shoot there. So that's just like the most nonsensical option to do out of anything you could do. At least if you threw out a can, you're covering something, but Gunman covers nothing there. Also, the second that he has to do a regrab, like, you shouldn't even think twice about how you're going to punish that. Like, that's an automatic down here on DK. And that's the thing, like, F smash misses. It goes up sometimes, and sometimes it hits low. So, like, you're literally doing two gambles in one with that. Yeah, that was just bad. Like, honestly, there was no reason for you to even do the air dodge. It just kind of added more to your lag counter. Again, just nonsensical Gunman, too. Because, like, he still could have landed with Nair and just beat out your Gunman. And there's horrible spacing on that Clay Pigeon, too. Like, you did it point blank instead of, like, dashing back for that. Because, like, you could be over here and throw out Clay Pigeon, and if Donkey Kong's over here, as long as it hits him, you can still convert off of that. Yeah, you need to think way more. Like, none of this is thinking. This is just blind button mashing that you think works. Like, Clay Pigeon technically wasn't a good option to go for there, but, like, in the nuances of this matchup, like, realistically, at that position, the most you could really do is do another double jump and then get around it. But other than that, that Clay Pigeon did cover a lot, but it's very, very easily he could have gone around it and punt. He could have very easily killed you for going for that at that percentage. Oh, wow, yeah, he just called you out with that. But yeah, the other thing too is, like, he was, like, on top of you as well, and you could just jump up air, and DK can't really do anything about that. So, like, you just need to anti-air him more when he's also, like, above you as well. Like, if you just want to learn how to play Duck Hunt 101, just learn how to fight DK, and you'll have all the basics to use Duck Hunt there. It will give you a horrible Clay Pigeon habit because it's way too overpowered in this matchup. But like outside of that, you'll understand anti-airing because DK can't land. And Duck Hunt's anti-airing is really good because not only do you have cam, but up air just kind of outranges everything that DK does. He can do like a random downer to call you out, but that's risky. And the other thing too is what is it? You know, Clay Pigeon's able to cover a lot too, because like if he has to land, you can just kind of throw that out to just cover the entire thing, and it's really hard for him to get away from it. Okay, and then that was it for that one. Oh wait, did you play yellow DK afterwards? Oh, not yellow DK. No, it was somebody else at that point. Okay, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, no, I mean, overall, like that, you know, game one, you were playing the matchup just fine until until his last stock there. And then like games 2 and 3, you just forgot what were the main things you did, and you just decided to run up and like F smash him. Like you basically did the equivalent of that. Just ran up and attacked him, or you could have just kept sitting back, doing the clay pigeons safely, throwing the cans safely, and just like converting off the clay pigeons. Like it's not like you didn't land clay pigeons, it's like you did, but then you threw out gunmen. Like I have no idea why you thought that was a good idea. And at least judging by the connection that I saw there, it wasn't that you couldn't even react to what you were doing, because like you have a lot of time to respond to a clay pigeon landing on somebody, like even if you're on Wi-Fi, and as long as it lands, you can just convert. You know, I can understand missing your dashes, that's one thing, but like I saw that you didn't dash, like you just walked and then gunman, so it was just you weren't even thinking about converting off those clay pigeons. I don't know why you go for clay pigeon if you don't want to convert off of it. The last Rob critique. Are these all Rob? Oh, that's Shulk. That's Shulk. Okay. All right, I'll see what you do here. That was kind of weird. Yeah, so once again, guys, if you do have any clips that you want me to look at, feel free to post them inside the chat itself, or feel free to send them to me on Discord or even Twitter if you choose to fancy that. All right, let's check this out. Oh, you do the no music thing. Okay. I should say real quickly about this matchup. Once again, if you've watched my other videos on this, this matchup's not that bad. It's just one of those that has a learning curve to it. Basically, if you learn how to take control of gyro, and if you don't want to mess with it, if you're really good at item control, hold on to it as long as you can and do the Z-drop shenanigans with it. So like, you know, Z-drop and then aerial, so that way you can do your aerials perfectly fine. And basically, he loses like his main pressure tool to get rid of your setups. After that, then he only has laser, but that takes time to recharge, so he can only do it so often. So you win the neutral and camping game on that grounds. And the other thing too is this is one of the easiest characters to kill off a clay pigeon. Like basically if he's at if he's at like 50%, he's basically at death percent. Like that's how deadly clay pigeon is on him. But the main thing that Rob's really good at is if you don't know the matchup, he can mess with your spawning a lot with the laser and gyro, but mostly from gyro. And then also his kill potential is really, really good too. So if you don't know how to avoid his kill setups, then those will get you as well. So name of the game is take control of gyro. You want to play can high until get gyro out, and then just kind of find areas to land can to just kind of interfere with him. And gunman's also a really good way to control it, as it'll block gyro. So then that way it kind of limits what it can do on the ground, and then makes it easy for, because it hits gunman and then you can just jump and catch it. So that's pretty easy to do. And then from there, you just kind of find opportune moments to throw out clay pigeon. Like if you see him start up nair when he's up here, you can kind of toss one out, and then you should be able to catch him in shield at the very least. And he, you know, he's one of those characters that's big enough that, you know, he can't exactly get around clay pigeon. Like he has to just roll through it or roll away. He can't jump around it or anything. Again, kind of a nonsensical F smash there. Okay, so off of that clay pigeon, he was dead. So you could have done 3 more clay pigeons and up aired and he was gone. Or you could have done 3 more and then back aired and he was dead. So that's something you have to keep in mind. Also, when you catch Gyro, just throw it up. So then that way it takes longer for him to get it. And then that way it's also covering something else as well. Yeah, I would say don't even bother going for those down airs unless it's like you're doing it off of clay pigeon. Just because like it's a very scrubby thing to do, and it's only worth practicing once you know how to ledge guard, because you get way more of your kills and damage from doing this than you do by edge guarding. That was such a weird option coming from him. Yeah, again, you kind of did really bad up Bs. It was just like bad positioning to start your cans and all that, and bad positions to start like the actual up B itself. Because like you made yourself vulnerable above the ground, and that makes it really easy for any opponent to punish you. So you want to make it so that you're lower, and then you get like a bit more room to just kind of air dodge around it. See, that was a time you could have actually F smashed. Like if there was one time it would have made sense, it was over there. That one didn't, because that was very easy for him to get around at that point. So it's like when you need to do the quick punish, make sure you do like down angled F tilt. Like even instead of doing that fair, if you did down angled F tilt, he's probably dead there. It's Rob, so he might have lived, but more than likely probably would have lost. Again, you're kind of not paying attention to his lasers as well. Like, you're not really looking to see what setups are available to him. Also, this approaching nair, that's really easy for any decent player to just jump and hit you out. Like, that approaching fair is like probably one of the worst options you could do. Like, it gives you no ground. You're not whiff punishing anything. Like, you're just like, hey, I am nairing, and this is going to be a very easy move for you to punish. I'm doing it as long as I have critiques. Like, I legitimately only have this one, and that's it. So if you have one that you want me to look at, send it over. But yeah, see, like, because you decided to go for that, like, you didn't set up a ledge trap, and now he just got back for free. And now you might die for it. Again, like, you just got rid of your setup. Why did you send Ken off stage? Just leave it right here. This is going to cover something. This covers nothing. Now, this will at least force an option. And it's like, that wasn't a good Gutman, but at least, like, it's going to force something out of him, and you weren't ready to cover the roll either. Again, like, you don't... Okay, he's at 177, so maybe you couldn't convert it, but you still don't want to convert off of anything either. Yeah, no, feel free to send it over. Easy call out right there. Like, you're not zoning or keeping him out or anything. Like, these are just like loose lizard brain ideas of what to do. Like, okay, throw out gunman. Okay, maybe jump to avoid an attack or something like that. And it's just like, it was just like really easy for him to read that out, because now you're kind of like doing like more of a camping game, because he's got max rage, you were at death percent, so you're just kind of scared for your stock there. Again, because you decided to go for Clay Pigeon, you didn't know that Clay Pigeon's not going to go over point blank gyro. It just like did damage to you, and now because you did that, you wasted enough time that you had no way to anti-air that nair. So like when he did that fair, you actually could have pinged that can to like help blow him up because he was leaned forward there. And that should have been able to catch his arms, and then would have made it a little bit easier for you to get back. Again, it's like you went for an up air when he air dodged over here. Like, none of this really makes sense to do. Gyro's about to go away, so you could have actually fared, and you could have dashed through, grabbed him, and thrown him into the can, and then like got it in a whole up air chain off of that. Yeah, I just saw your stuff, so I'll take a look at them. You need to make sure you send over the Twitch. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so that thing does reflect, so you have to think a little bit more. Yeah, I don't know what notes I told you, but I can tell you applied none of it. If I gotta be perfectly blunt. So yeah, you're as I mentioned, okay, you're not even paying attention to what laser and gyro can do. Like, you're just kind of off in your own little world, just throwing out cannon, clay pigeon, just however you feel like it, without giving any regards to what the context of the matchup is and what he can do to you. And you're not even thinking about covering options properly. Or do you even know like the full potential of the combos that you can get off of these situations too? Like, you know, one of the first things you should probably do is, you know, see what option that he's going to do first. Like, you might see him charge gyro, you might see him shoot laser. And if he like drops down, charges laser, then you can throw out a can. And then from there, you can like start pressuring with that and approaching him. And then with the second that you see gyro come out, throw out Gubman to like catch it. And then from there, you can jump, grab the gyro, and then like pressure him with like the can. And then you also have the threat of being able to throw gyro at him, or you could just throw gyro up to like kind of remove from play from there. And then that's going to get significant. That's going to significantly reduce the amount of pressure that he can keep on you from there. And then it's just a matter of finding those openings as he's approaching you and just kind of taking advantage of that. Because like Rob doesn't really have an approach game without gyro. He's got like, you know, fair. He can also like jump really high and do a nair, but nair is very slow. And kind of show off like how slow that move is. Let's bring out the good old UFD. So like nair starts on frame 14, but it does start below him at first. So when you're trying to anti-air him, you got to be a little bit careful about that. But the other thing too is notice this. In front of him, there's no hitbox. So the hitbox starts down here, and then he rotates over, and then it's in front of him. So as long as you're to the side of him, so 14, then 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So it's about frame 21 when the hitbox is in front of him. So as long as you can meet him air to air and you can just like hit him from the side, it's really easy. Not to mention, if you look at his hurt box, it stretches out beyond the center part. So that's the reason why clay pigeons really clay pigeons really, really easy to hit on him. And the timing to hit him is just super lenient is because of this like expansion there. I mean, the reason why you send things in is just to keep having these habits pointed out to you, so that way you just kind of like infer it more, just to like help reinforce things. Like, don't send me stuff when you made progress. If you're consistently not making progress on stuff, you should probably send it in. It's like, wait, I don't get this. Why do I keep losing to this? Why does this keep happening? And I'm here to tell you why this keeps happening. So like, you know, actually, something I should ask, how long have you been playing Smash Ultimate competitively? There's a difference between playing Smash and like not caring, like just with items and everything. But like but when did you start actually caring and wanting to get good at the game? How long has that journey been going on for you? Because yeah, you only get better at these things like the more that you just get yourself beat up. I'm gonna be honest. Like getting better at fighting games or a lot of things is just like about how many black guys you're taking, and then just learning how to avoid that black guy for the future. Take you a while to answer that. Okay. But yeah, you know, like let's say you've only been playing for a year or like 2. Like if that's the case, like you're very, very, very new to fighting games. And especially if Smash was the first one you started with, this is a really complicated game to get good at. Like sure, the controls are initially simple, but to like understand the footsies and fundamentals and the fact that you can die by just moving off stage and all that stuff, it's a weird thing to wrap your hands around, like all the stuff that you need to do, especially with where you're positioning yourself on stage. Like there's a lot of things to take in. So it's like, you know, let's look at a random part like Here, okay. Rob's off stage. What do you do here? And you decided to go for this. So, do you kind of understand why this is a bad option? Okay, so about 2 years then. Yeah, so you're still very, very new to this game. Like, this isn't weird, but yeah. So, do you understand why this is a bad option? Like, what you just did right here? Because I feel like this is the important thing to like break down. Yeah, you went from this to that. Do you understand why this dashing up and doing clay pigeon right here is bad? Okay, so what you're saying right there is that your main concern was just to get a hit on him. Like, you just like, hey, I need to throw something to hit this player. Was that like your thought there? So 120. So why do you think this is a bad option? Like, in your own words, tell me like your explanation why you think this is bad. Or do you only think it's bad because I told you it is? There's a difference between me, like, you thinking it's bad just because I told you, and there's a difference between understanding why it's bad to do this. Exactly, yeah. So the biggest thing that you need to this is actually, I'm actually really glad that this happened, and I was able to really point this out, especially with like all the things that you were saying, that you're saying, like, you know, you don't have a lot of time to focus on this, you haven't had a lot of time to like actually play people, and because of that, like, maybe your understanding of a lot of things aren't getting there. So when you're playing fighting games, like when you're just getting into them, your mindset is, I want to hit my opponent as much as possible, because the more that things that I throw out, the more likely I am to hit them, and hitting things feels good. In practice, there's certain fighting games where that's not the case. Like if you're playing Marvel, yeah, just pressure all day. But there's a little bit more nuance on that, but generally speaking, you can do that. But in like in a game like Smash, and particularly if you're playing Duck Hunt, if you go in with that mentality, you're just gonna get like your ass beat like crazy. So like Duck Hunt has the capability of being very, very safe, but he doesn't really have the capability of really going in being aggressive. Duck Hunt's biggest strength is being able to cover options. And if you're just going to like willy-nilly Hail Mary, just try to hit them off of one thing, then like having that mentality the entire time is just not going to work playing this character, or any character. Just playing Smash in general, it's just not going to work. Like, you saw that mentality against DKWill. Like, after you stopped playing like a general, very generic, safe Duck Hunt neutral, you decided to just go in because hitting things feels good, and if I hit him, I will win. Instead of thinking, okay, how am I actually going to hit him or get these openings at all? So it's like kind of getting your brain to like recognize yourself doing this is very important. And when your brain's like switching back to like your lizard brain, you need to learn how to like dial it out back outside of that. So let's bring it back over here. So you chased him off stage with Can. Can is gone. So, and he's really far away. So at this point, you're able to like wait for him. Once the can is reset, you could throw out a can here to cover these different ledge options. So then that way, when he's getting to this area, you could like throw out an aerial duck hunt. He air dodges. You can hit him with can, or you can ping the can towards him. He air dodges. You can cover the rest with duck hunt. So at this percentage, as long as Rob is in this area, a back air hitting with the sweet spot will kill him. Even if you did a down tilt or a down angled F tilt, that might kill him because he might have used up enough fuel. It's like his fuel's about halfway over here, and it's going to be even less by the time that he's all the way up here. So by doing that, like by throwing the aerial with duck hunt and then covering it with the can, you covered the aggressive option with like duck hunt's aerial, and you covered the defensive option with the can as well. Just by you throwing that can there and you just waiting and being patient. So that would have been the best way to just like completely overcome that whole scenario. But like over here, it's like, how do I hit him from here? And that's it. You're not thinking about what are the options that are going to be happening next. And you're only thinking about the now. Like you saw him here and it's like, oh, of course, Clay Pigeon's going to teleport right over here and intercept him. Like if he was down here, okay, maybe there's a chance. But that's still not going to get you a big reward. Like if he's down here, he's more likely to go to ledge than anything. And that's just not going to hit. So you just got to think about the scenarios about what you're using these, what you're using your tools for and how you utilize them. Like can is your most important tool to use, and understanding how to use it is the most important thing to get down. And just learning why playing safe with duck hunt is the way that you really need to go. Yeah. Because like here, you're in a super advantage state. Like if anything, like this is one of the strongest positions in the entire game. Duck hunt over here while your opponent's off stage. Because like you could just set up so many things here, but like you actively don't really have a ledge trap game for the most part for what you were doing. You're just kind of going off stage and like hoping to hit him. So like, you know, watch my ledge trap guide again. But honestly, you kind of need a, you're in the like 5 tips for beginners guide phase. Like watch that and like learn what his moves are. Like that's kind of what you need to do. So let's see here. So yeah, if you didn't know what to do against Rob, you definitely aren't going to know what to do against Shulk. That I can tell you immediately. Not this frame because he's... Oh yeah, I could have... No, like with the way that you play, I like Shulk has to eat you alive. Like there's no way that he won't. So let's see. Yeah, so the Shulk matchup, again, not as bad as most people think it is. Like, it's one of those, if you have no idea what to do against Shulk, he's going to obliterate you as duck hunt. Like, you're carried off the stage, you're getting zeroed to death like crazy. But, like, once you understand what he wants to go for in each, like, Monado art and all that stuff, and you understand how to abuse his bad frame data, because, like, his mobility's good when he's in speed and jump. But, like, outside of that, like, he has to do, like, these highly committal things in order to even get something started, and that's what you abuse. Like, it's kind of, like, think about dealing with Shulk, where all of his moves are Rob's Nair, and that's kind of the character. Obviously, his grounded moves are a bit faster, like, you know, jabs frame 5, which not great, but not horrible. His F tilts and down tilts are like frame 10 to 12, so, you know, very standard things for like sword characters and all that. Dodge attack's really quick at like 12, but like outside of that, his aerials are just slow. Like neutral air is frame 13, so it's like basically Rob. Forward air is frame 14, which is basically Rob Nair. Back air is frame 19, which is like Rob back air. Up air is frame 14, which is like up air and down air both frame 14, which is basically Rob Nair. So that's the thing. Like, if you know how to deal with Rob there, you kind of know how to deal with Shulk's attacks at that point. Yeah. No, I mean, when Shulk, like, understands how to kill, they're going to blow you up like crazy for this matchup. Oh, you actually got a parry. Yeah, so, like, see right there, you actually had a punish on him, but you have to kind of believe in it. So, like, after you did that, second jump, you did that, like, that second can ping, the fair on the can is going to hold him for a little bit, and then you can actually, like, kind of dash in and punish him for it. So, let me see, how much landing lag does he have on that? Yeah, because like forward air, he's got 10 frames of landing lag. Neutral air is 6 frames, but he went for a fair in that instance. Oh, that's a really bad clay pigeon. Like, you can't clay pigeon next to him like that. Oof, yeah. Can't miss your techs. Yeah, don't worry. I post all of my critiques on YouTube, so you'll be able to find them there if you're not able to get it. But I'm gonna do Tater's first, and then I'm gonna do yours. Yeah, most likely, I'm probably going to get through yours. I just realized I didn't watch that whole sequence. I'm probably going to get through yours, probably right when you're in there. Yeah, it'll be on YouTube. That was a bad clay pigeon, but I don't need to tell you that. Yeah, he can cover a lot on the platforms. So after it hits your shield, that's when you just jump away. Also, again, your goal against Shulk is to get in on him, because when you're right next to him, you have the frame data advantage over him. Like, if you're both in the air, he has to air dodge basically every single time. Once you're right next to him. Like there, when you're pinging the can there, you actually could have set up a gunman to catch his landing, because the can was like right on top of him in the air, and there wasn't too much you could do about that. So then that way you could have forced a shield or a jump. But yeah, if he's in the air, then he has to come down with an aerial, which you can kind of go around and then fair him for it, or he has to retreat and give up stage control. So that's kind of what you need to focus on there. Wasn't a bad option, but it's like, you know, it's I wouldn't have done it personally, but it was just like a unfortunate, like, we're just being a little bit too late with it. Oh yeah, that's gonna kill you. Whoa, yeah, that was bad. That was just an execution thing. Like, if he did short hop up air, that would have been too bad. But, like, honestly, after he missed that tech, back air would have been the best thing to do. Because if he has to spend that time recovering, it's going to waste more time of his jump. Also, this isn't really a character you want to go for can trades against. So you need to be kind of careful about the areas you use it in. You have to do it very strategically. That was good. See, okay, don't go for clay pigeons if you don't want to combo off of it. Like, you threw it, and then you dashed here and stopped. Like, you threw that clay pigeon, and, like, immediately when it hit, like, you didn't want to do anything with it. And I don't know why you don't want to do anything with it when you throw it out so often. And there, that's it. So you need to be really careful about doing all that. So yeah, overall, you honestly weren't like this is a Shulk that doesn't know the matchup. Like he was playing like very generically against like can, gunman, and clay pigeon and all that stuff. It's just you had like a lot of bad timings with things. And you didn't know how to close in the pressure. So get Shulk in the air, and then if you can get below him, you can actually just like kind of shark him with up airs. And he's not going to really have a quick option to deal with you. So, like, here are the moves that hit below. So, if you're right below him, he can theoretically do Nair. So, this comes out frame... Actually, it starts up here first. So, you can actually hit his legs before it hits you. So, this is 13, then 14. And then, so, I think this is, like, the last one. Then 15, 16, 17. So, from it's like 15 to 17. That's when you have to be a little bit scared. But after that, then it's gone. So basically, you're looking out for a frame 15 to 17 move to like hit you. And that's not really a bad thing. Forward air is going to take a long time. So it starts up here, frame 14, then 15, 16, 17. And if you're right below him, that's still not going to hit you. And then 18. So frame 18, it's going to hit you. But that's really about it. Back air obviously is super slow. So generally speaking, if he's throwing this out, you shouldn't be in range to punish him. If you are, that means he's just really bad at spacing, because you honestly should never be in that zone. Yeah, I mean, most people don't know how to use Shulk because he's a complicated character. But like he's just playing basic safe stuff around can and all that stuff. And like he was putting himself where you could have set up like actual situations to corner him. Like again, like what I mentioned, like, hey, you're making him jump with can, and then you could set up gunmen to cover the landings and all that stuff. Like that's a very free opening or a way to like manipulate himself, but you have to be comfortable with knowing to go in and what to do afterwards. The other thing too is like, since he was just kind of hitting you with Buster into like smash arts and all that stuff, I couldn't really tell you pointers about playing around speed and jump because that didn't really come into play too often. That sounds about right. Like, honestly, if you have no idea what you're doing against that move, like, it could catch you like crazy, because there's not really moves that have the range that that one does. See, like, right there, you could have just landed with a fair, and you would have been completely safe to do so. Like, I forget exactly what the frame data is on... Let me check Air Slash real quick. Yeah, like, Air Slash is frame 10. You can fair his shield and shield before he's able to do Air Slash on you, as long as you do it correctly. Like, that's safe against it. Yeah, like, it would have been better for you to just, like, land on stage and shield there, because you can't really do too much from that position. Also, let me check some statistics real quick. So, back air's -6 on shields, so you're not going to punish that if he lands with it, which he probably will. Down air's not safe on shields. See, -11, -9, -10, so that one you could be a lot more comfortable against. Forward air, most of the time he's going to be hitting this pretty high on you, so like on the top of your shield. So you actually should be able to like grab this if he does it into you. Because like if you look at the way that he has to do it, if he wants this to be -6 or 7 on shield, he has to hit your shield about, he has to like fast fall during this frame. Or like this frame. Or actually no. He has to somehow land and hit you on this frame. But that's kind of hard to do. Like Duck Hunt's height is about this. So more often than not, I think he's going to be hitting you around here. And at that point, you should be able to like shield it. I mean, punish it, because that's going to add like 3 extra frames to his landing lag. Obviously, neutral air is ridiculous. So like this move, you're not really punishing if he's landing with this. Like -2, -3. But like fair, fair and down air are 2 ones that you can punish way easier depending what his distance is from you. And the other thing you need to keep in mind is if he does hit your shield, if you both jump out of shield at the same, like if you both jump after he lands, if you do jump fair, you're going to probably stuff out every option that he has, because you are way faster than Shulk is. So here, let's break this example down. So if you shielded there and he faired you, if you do a jump there, that is going to beat out literally every single aerial that he could possibly do, because all of his aerials are too slow. You can even do like jump down air and you're going to still outframe every single aerial that he can do from that position. Like about the only thing that's going to beat is like if he does like air slash. That's it. That's all that he's got. Any move. Literally, if he lands and does an aerial on your shield and you do an aerial, you will beat out every single aerial that he could possibly do. And you'll actually beat out his tilts too, because his tilts are a bit too slow. Like up tilts frame 11, then forward tilts frame 12, and down tilts frame 10. So let's say he does like forward tilt or something like that. So if you do like jump in air, there's a pretty good chance that you might be able to like hit his head, because like that move comes at frame 12. If he did nair and got like the -3 hit on shield, when you do nair out of shield, obviously you have to go through the 3-frame jump squat, and then after that your neutral air comes out frame 6. So your move is going to come out 6 frames before his F tilt does. Like one move that he'll be able to probably beat all of your aerials about is up tilt. And the reason why his up tilt's going to beat out your aerials is because he does this little crouch here. So this is the reason why he might be able to beat your aerials. But you know, if you do nair and you like get right above him, then your nair is going to beat this out. Your forward nair is going to have a little bit of a bigger chance missing. But like, let's say you're doing it against this. He's still mostly standing, so you could probably fair out of shield and probably still hit him before he's able to get this part out. But he does kind of do like a little, he does kind of crouch a little bit too. And like, you know, if he does jab, you know, this is frame 5, and not only that, like your nair should beat this out. And like the quickest that this jab is going to come out is going to be like frame, you know, it's gonna be like frame 20 or something. So like that's kind of one thing about fighting Shulk that people don't really realize. See, like that right there illustrates this perfectly. So let's go right here. See, you have jumped next to Shulk, and you're both. So in this position, if you choose to do like any normal attack, Shulk can only air dodge to get around it. And that's it. So if you nair right here and he air dodges and you follow him, the weak hit of nair will hit him because he cannot get out of that. That's the issue with Shulk when you get next to him. No physical moveset he could possibly do. The best thing that he could possibly do for himself outside of like the aerials to like hit you is do air slash, but that comes out frame 10. So not even that's not the quickest thing in the entire world. And the thing is, like, if he misses air slash and like you're below him and all that stuff, then that makes it really easy to punish him. So always remember that when you're fighting him. If you're next to him, he can't really do too much. At least in the air. Ground's a little bit of a different story. See, like, let's look at this example right here. He hits your shield. So, if you decide to do a grab... Actually, you could have grabbed that. So, he hits you over here. And if he does it perfectly, this move is -6 or 7 on shield. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so best case scenario, that's -11 on shield. Worst case scenario, that's -12 on shield. So that was a free grab right there because he landed right next to you and did it. This move's not safe because it's very hard to land this move perfectly with the way the hitbox works. And then, like, after that dash, like, sure, he could do, like, jab. Or, like, maybe do an F-tilt. But if he did an F-tilt, that wouldn't have been spaced safely because he was right next to you. Jab's obviously not that safe on shield either. Because, like, if he does jab 3... Jab 1 and 2... Like, jab 2 is -25 on shield. Jab 1 is -17. So these are not terribly safe. So if he does jab 2, he's basically doing jab 3. And jab 3 is -32 on shield. But, like, if he tries to jump, then you could just jump and hit him. Because he's not... None of his arrows are quick enough to actually beat you out. Like, right there. Right here is exactly what I'm talking about. So, because you're right next to him and he jumped, the second you see him jump, just jump and fair. Because you're going to beat this move out. This is frame 19. Your fair comes out frame 7. Obviously, on Wi-Fi, you're not going to really react to that. But that's just kind of the philosophy of fighting Shulk. So yeah, there, you're able to punish that. I think he went into shield. Actually, yeah, he jumped. He jumped, and then that's the reason why you were able to grab him. He's a little bit too tall. Again, it's like when you're next to him on shield, you have the frame advantage against him. See, like, when Shulk's over here doing back air, that you can't actually punish. But, like, if you get next to him, if you, like, start charging him when he's, like, trying to set this up, you can just jump fair and you'll beat it out. Yeah, like when he's doing nothing, there's no reason not to throw out aerials and pressure him. Like there, you could have fared and he wouldn't have been able to get that fair against you. Again, if he's ever jumping above you, just jump and throw out an aerial and he'll lose. Yeah. So if he gets, if you're at the ledge, if you're like at 130, be aware of grab. Yeah, that's not going to cover anything. Okay, yeah, you're able to get that. I thought you were going to miss the anti-air there. Yeah. So that's the other thing. When he has Buster mode, it's really good against your shield too. So just know, if you're at that percentage, he can't actually kill you off a smash if he starts charging a smash attack. So just get ready to DI it. And you also have to remember, because it's smash, like, it's not going to do a lot of damage. Like, it does, like, barely anything. So all you have to worry about is just surviving it. That was a really bad down air. He actually could have killed you off of that. Yeah. So the other thing too is like when he was doing those buster things against you, that can out was really bad. Because it's like he doesn't exactly have a way to kill you off of that. Like you're a little bit too far away and it takes a little bit too long for him to switch arts at that point. Like the most he could do is like a downer at ledge and hopefully catch you. So like that was just a very bad spot to do that escape over there. But yeah, no, overall, like, Shulk, I don't blame you for not knowing the Shulk matchup. Like, there's not too many players that can play him well, and not too many people really know how to fight him. And the biggest thing is throwing out setups to, like, trap him. So, like, you control the air with the can, so it forces him to swing and, like, kind of reduces where he can go. So you punishes this the early swings that he does. And then you cover the landings with Gunman as well. And in this game, you can actually use Clay Pigeon, because if he lands with an aerial, then Clay Pigeon bursts and punishes him as well. But the first thing is to make sure you control the sky properly. And once you get your goal is to actually approach him or get him to approach you in a way where you're right next to him. So that way you always have the frame data advantage over him. Because once you secure that and understand that concept, Shulk becomes way less of a scary character. Obviously he cheats, like he can survive things he shouldn't survive, and he can kill you ridiculously early. But like if you understand that fundamental issue that he's always going to have a neutral regardless of who you're playing, then he becomes way more manageable. There's also different neutral techniques you want to use against the different arts and all that stuff, but honestly it's kind of hard to talk about without you like kind of having an understanding of like how to fight his kits without art. You kind of need to know that first before you really do that, and you need to get better at watching your opponent. So like you know, if you can't watch your opponent and move your character at the same time without looking at your character, you need to focus on that first before I tell you the intricacies about Shulk. Like, it's not worth like worrying about the Shulk matchup when you need to work so much on your fundamentals of how to play the game. So make sure you're focused more on that. Like, focus on your movement, focus on why you use the different projectiles and how you do setups with them, and then from there you can get more into the specifics of fighting different matchups. So, you know, if you don't understand how to use moves, like go back and watch the beginner's guide. Go back and watch the five tips for beginners guide too. Watch the ledge trapping guide. Watch the can guide. Watch the clay pigeon guide, and watch the gunman guide. Like focus on the basics. You need to build your core still with Daka before we get way more in depth with the other things. So, you know, watch those. When something stumps you, feel free to just ask me questions in like Hunter's Habitats or critique, and then from there. Then we can get more into the details of like fighting other things and all that. Snake's hard. Snake's one of the hardest characters to do it against. So I wouldn't do that to do it. Like, if you have the chance, try to fight simple characters, like fight Marios or fight like Captain Falcons, things like that. Like characters that don't like, have like 5 different, like 2 or 3 things to worry about. Like you just have to worry about the character. Those are what you want to fight. You want to fight brawlers or like sword characters. Where like Shulk kind of has a lot more going on with him than that. Yeah, just watch the 5 beginners tips guide. Like you kind of need the things that are stated there. I forget exactly what I say, but like it definitely applies to you. That's all I know.
All right.
Good stuff. I'm happy that we were at least able to point out like a bunch of like your understandings and like why you think the way they do. Like it's not bad to have those things. Like it's a process that everybody needs to go through, and only by like exposing what you don't know are you going to find the reasons to like kind of overcome those things and learn the things that are like necessary to you.